Hello and welcome back to Chitta Diaries, or welcome if you're new. This is another episode of our personal finance chats, and today is the fourth one. We are literally 3 months in. I've been having, should I say, a good time? But it's been nice to just sit and make these videos. I'm enjoying myself at the very least, and I will do a quick recap, which is really vital to what we'll be doing today. Like this whole series is kind of like a continuation, but don't worry if you haven't watched the previous ones. But in the first episode or the first exercise that we had for us to, just help ourselves start this journey of improving our personal finances was to list everything that we spend on a monthly basis. So we gave ourselves a month to list everything, like from the biggest expense to the tiniest, and just take note of it. The second month, or the second exercise that we had, was to put that into a simple Excel template, or just any sort of budget template, like whatever app makes you happy. We sat together and created a template of where we listed our earnings or income and our expenditure. So we just listed it, made it as comprehensive as possible. And then in the third episode, or for the third month, our homework or exercise was to keep track of our actual expenditure. And this was supposed to help us notice if there's any deficit, how to manage that deficit. If we have excess, we would know to channel it towards something like savings or investments or paying off debt that will help us, make progress or move forward on this personal finance journey of us improving our personal finances. And now we are here, episode 4. And for this episode, we'll now look at a far bigger scope of making a plan for an entire year. So, like a 1 year budget or a 1 year plan or goals that you would want to look out for an entire year. Now, most people kind of sit together, or if it's someone who's giving advice. By the way, I'm not a financial expert, I'm just somebody on the internet making videos with my community so we can help each other out. But yeah, most people either sit together or be someone giving advice. They always start from this point, or most people start from this point of, let's look at the bigger scope, like what are your hopes and dreams, what do you want to achieve? And it's great, it is. But from my personal experience, sometimes, because like I'm a big dreamer, I will have these really, really, really high goals for myself. Like, I want to do this, I believe it. I know that others want to manifest things, and having such a big goal and not knowing how to manage the smallest of things doesn't really work out. Like you kind of set yourself up for failure. And that's why I had wanted us to do those little exercises that we've done the past few months, so that we get to know ourselves, we get to know our spending habits, we get to know the true picture, like of like the core of our finances, so that that can then help us achieve these other bigger goals that we have for ourselves. Hopefully that makes sense. So yeah, if we are, or if you're as delusional as I am, you could have major, major, major goals, and then when you now look at what you have, or you now start living out the year with this big goal of, I want to make this much money, I want to save this much money, when you don't even have the capacity to even get to a fraction of that, it can be very, very demoralizing, and you kind of give up very early on that journey of trying to achieve something. So with that being said, let's move on to the next, point of actually setting goals for ourselves. And I think like the easiest thing I can point towards is, let's ask ourselves, or let's think of something that gives us the most anxiety, or something that makes us the most uncomfortable. So let's start from rock bottom. Like, what's the one financial woe, or like what's like your biggest financial anxiety that you have right now? And maybe you can start there. Maybe you can start there, because anxiety isn't fun. Like, once you get rid of this anxiety of things that bother you, you now have this open mental space, or just space within your life to do better things. So maybe let's try and clear that off. Or maybe if you highlight that anxiety, maybe it's not that big of a deal. If you speak to somebody else in your life, maybe they'll let you know not to worry too much and things will be fine. But if it's something that is making you feel like you won't be okay, and it's always hovering over you, start with that and try and figure out how um you can bridge the gap to get closer to achieving that goal. But anyways, before we even get to that, let's just think of what's the one. I know most times you're like, oh my gosh, like what's the one thing I want? Like what's my dream thing? Like what's something that I want the most that will make me super happy? Which is what we want to do. But we'll get there later. For now, if you're watching this video, it's a high chance you might be struggling, So before we even get to those big, big things, what's the one thing that gives you the most anxiety? And there's so many examples. Or maybe it may not even be something that gives you like a lot of anxiety. It's just something that makes you uncomfortable and something that you feel that you need to move forward, that will help you feel better. List that down. So that could be your one big goal. And I can give examples. Maybe it's your level of education. Maybe you want to have a degree. You could list that. So that's you trying to find money or to save money to be able to, pay for a degree program. It could be buying a car. It could be buying or building a home. Like what's one thing where you're like, you know what? I might live in a major city, or even if you don't live in a major city, like having a car is vital, you guys, especially if you live in I know that everybody who watches is Zambian. Like there are some places where like you just need a car. Like maybe you don't have reliable public transportation. Like that's something that you need that gives you anxiety. Like you'd like to have a car soon. Maybe you want to buy a home. Maybe you want to own a home. Maybe you just want to move out and be able to live on your own, renting a home. Maybe that's something that you really, really want. You know what I mean? What are the examples? I kind of want to give as many examples that are relatable. Let me think of one more. Oh yes, it could be you being able to help out maybe a certain family member or certain family members plural that are in need of financial aid. Like that's something that gives you a lot of work. Like you want to help somebody out, maybe it's somebody with a medical condition or just anything of that sort. Like you want enough money to support, you know, a yeah, like a close relative. Yeah, so I said one more example and we'll leave it there. So now that you've identified, it could be one major thing that you want to work towards or several, you need to now tabulate how much you need for that. So everything, like just put it in, like do your research, like how much do you need? Like what is the actual like figure or amount for that financial goal? And write it down. So yeah, now that you've done the research and you now have this figure that you want to work towards, this financial goal, for the next coming year, because we did this exercise of learning about ourselves the last 3 months. Are you able to reach that goal within a year? Like do you have money left over at the end of each month after you've paid for like your essential bills? And we also did that exercise where we had to figure out what is the minimum we need per month to live and survive, like every single month, you know versus what we earn. If you have something left over, can this go, or will this be enough for you to get to this amount that you want within a year? Will it be enough? Or are you somebody who's living in deficit where maybe your financial goal is coming out of debt or being able to just break even to have enough to survive? Okay, if that's your goal, um, just sit and look at yourself and the past 3 months and find out if that is feasible. And that's why I know, by the way, I've never been to a vision board party. I hear they're really nice. And even though I'm a big dreamer, I'm a big delusional person, to give myself some credit when it comes to the whole vision board thing, I'm even though I'm delusional, that's a small part of me that at least kind of reels myself in to be realistic. I mean, it's very nice to cut out um like pictures of grand things that you want for ourselves, or if it's electronic, you could just literally copy and paste pictures and make yourselves these really nice, like vision boards or electronic vision boards. But if all you do is just sit and look at it in your room or on your PC or on your phone and you aren't doing anything towards it, it's never going to happen. And I'm somebody who wants to achieve my dreams. Like I want my dreams to become a reality. So yes, let's be realistic, look at what we have, on the table, and try and figure out how we can get to where we want to be, like practically and realistically, like not waiting for miracle money or something. I know for some people miracles do happen, like a cute little lump sum will come out of nowhere and sort out all your problems. But for the rest of us, we have to actively work towards this. So yeah, sorry. I feel like I'm rambling. Let me let me, try and focus. But like this point that I wanted to make was we have to be realistic, and is this big goal that we want, um like is this something that is attainable within a year? If it isn't, don't worry. Like, let's now move on to the next point of what to do if this goal is nowhere, like nowhere inside of, you know, your capacity, to get to it. So if you wanted to do something major, oh, and actually I forgot one, important example. You could be somebody who wants to build an emergency fund. Like, that's a big thing. It's always been okay. It's been a big thing for a while, of having enough money, like just in case something happens, like you lose your job or whatever. Like, just having like this emergency fund to help you out in emergencies or crises. Like you need to have some sort of liquid cash outside of your, day-to-day spending. So if your goal was to have 3 months of an emergency fund and you realize that you're living hand to mouth, start with even just the bare minimum of putting away some spare change at the end of each week, just to build that muscle of, being able to save. Like, it's like it really does something to the brain. It motivates you to keep going, even if it's a small amount. Mentally, it's helping you save, so that even when you get bigger amounts, you've built that discipline. And I did get this tip from someone who I would mention. In fact, let me mention her right now. She's called Bola. I've forgotten her surname, but she has a brand called Clever Girl Finance. Okay, and I have been joking with my older sister about how towards the end of last year, spilling into 2026, like, I'm one of Bola's disciples. Like, I am in the cult. It's not a cult, but like, I've just been joking about how, like, yeah. But anyways, in future videos, like honestly, I have learned so much from her. I would highly recommend anybody to follow her content. She has a YouTube channel, she has a blog post, like, she has many books that she's written. I love her like her method of teaching personal finance. It's very realistic. Like, there's so many people who have these thumbnails of how I made $300,000 in 4 days, blah 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 blah. That's, anyways, I'll get to that one day, or maybe later on in this video. But yeah, point is, the tip of the spare change, I got that from the Clever Girl Finance content. But yeah, if you had wanted to save, even just to build an emergency fund, for example, of 3 months by the end of the year, and you're like, I'm living hand to mouth, I can barely save, just build that muscle of, putting away some spare change. If you wanted to have a degree because you think it will help you get better opportunities for employment, like, if you have no qualification in a field that you want to get into, and maybe you're nowhere near that, of course you could ask for help, or you should reach out for a scholarship and the like. But if you get to a point where, in fact, the reason why you're even sitting here trying to think of a way to, find money, is because maybe you've tried all these avenues and they haven't worked, don't give up on that 4 year degree. Maybe just settle for something within the same field. It could be a short course or a certification that runs for 6 to 1 year. And it may not be at the dream institution that you want to go to. It could be, a smaller college or something. It's still a paper. It's still a qualification that gets you in the door of that field, if you know what I mean. And that in itself is still an achievement that no one should, like, undermine for you. It's something, to look forward to. Another example could be like the whole, you wanting to be able to fully support a family member that is in need of financial aid. If you realize that it's not attainable for you, even just picking one bill, like just one of their essential bills, trust me, it makes a difference. Like, one less bill is, like, great for anybody. Like, that would make anybody happy, and that in itself is some progress towards helping this person out. So these are small things that you can say, okay, fine, during the course of this year, my major goal is this. Maybe I don't have the capacity with what I have. Let me work towards this, even as I am looking for other means to increase my income, so that I can, get to that actual goal that I want. So yeah, that's point. I'm not even numbering these points, but yeah, that's that point that I wanted to make. So yeah, I will now segue into the next point, because I had briefly mentioned Bola from Clever Girl Finance, and that is, as you embark on this, um, journey of trying to achieve like a major financial goal, try and like curate the content that you consume. Try and curate your immediate environment. It could be friends, the people that you hang out with. I know, like our elders would always tell us this. I am now an elder. Like I can actually laugh because one of my nephews called me a small elder recently. But yes, I am a small elder right now, and they weren't lying, you guys. Like no matter how strong-willed you think you are, no matter how much you think you are an independent thinker, like your environment will shape your thoughts and everything that you do. And for some of us who are chronically online, like that's the first like area of attack when it comes to your subconscious, or just like how you're going to live out your life, your thoughts, and everything is what you consume on social media and the like. So if you are someone who's been struggling financially, maybe you've gotten yourself into debt for spending on things that aren't essential, whatever, like like whatever fuels this habit, or enables you to spend money that you aren't supposed to spend, try and avoid that content for a while. You can either go like cold turkey and just unfollow everything, block everybody, mute them, or you could just lessen that and find content that is going to help you on this journey. And like I said, again, huge shout out to the Clever Girl Finance brand. They're super helpful. Like I love consuming that content because it really helped me out. It's really motivated me. It's really helped me believe that I can actually improve and get to the point where I want to be one day. So yes, definitely find content that is helpful. Find friends, find relatives who can help you get to that goal, like who will encourage you, who you can actually learn from, you know what I mean. And avoid certain environments if you can. Like if you can't avoid them, just be self-aware that this is something that you should not kind of participate in if you're trying to better yourself. But yeah, let me try to wrap up this video so it's not too long, and because I know like the whole attention span thing, I totally understand. So yeah, let me wrap up this video in line with um, making sure you find useful content. I have like a pro tip. As somebody who loves to plan and overthink and whatnot, from my personal experience, I now take notes. Like I literally take notes of any, like if I watch an hour-long video, a 30-minute video, I read a book, I read an article. If there's something valuable that I want to take away from what I've just consumed, I take notes. Because there was a point where I think I had a saved playlist of like self-help information. It was like 300 videos. And in as much as I had saved those videos, like it's very difficult for you to play back like a long video. You know what I mean? Like there's, yeah, and especially if there's so many of them, like yes, you might save them, but for you to go back and like, oh, like what was that point, and the like you'd have to watch the whole thing. So taking notes is a far better way for you to quickly make reference to a point, if you know what I mean. So get yourself a dream or a hopes or a goals or intentions journal and jot down everything, like just short notes, bullet points, because that's easier to flip through if you want to keep track of your progress, or if you want to remind yourself of something that you had learned that you are actively practicing in your real life. So that's one pro tip that I wanted to give. And to close this off, last point, definitely have a non-financial goal. And this is important because so at the end of last year, like I like I forced my sister and two of our friends on New Year's Eve. I had a note. I was like, guys, let's talk about our hopes and dreams for the, like I forced people to sit down and introspect with me because I was introspecting, and it was based off of like one of I think it was Bola's year, like Bola from Clever Girl Finance. Like she did a video, which I will link. That video was excellent, honestly. If you have some time, you can listen to it as you work, as you like. It's a long video, but it's a good one. Yeah. So anyways, cause so I, watched that video. I was taking notes throughout the video like I usually do. And I made my sister and her two friends sit down with me on Christmas. Sorry, on New Year's Eve to talk about it. And there was an exercise where I was supposed to ask ourselves, I think, like what's one non-financial thing that you are good at, or something positive that you can look back on in 2025. And my answer to that was absolutely nothing. Like, it was a flop year, I failed, it was a failure, yeah, blah, 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 blah. And my sister had to like stop me, and she's like, no, absolutely not. I won't allow that negativity. There's definitely something that you succeeded at. There was something that you were good at, and just find that. And that's what happens when you like hyperfixate on, like I said, like, so in this case, like if you're hyper fixating on financial goals, and if they don't, like, just in case they don't work out, or you don't get to, that big level that you wanted, have some non-financial ones. Like, find something else in your life that needs improvement, that you can work on realistically, and have that as this like side motivation to just give you that, like that kick, like that positive affirmation to just, make you feel good even on this journey. Like, just like even as you are working hard, just in case the financial journey is, a big struggle or it's hard, have something else, have a non-financial goal to work towards too, that can make you happy and, encourage you through life. Because guys, like, ultimately, I am somebody who's trying to live my best life. Like, I didn't come here to suffer. There is no there is no price for suffering in this world. Okay, I want to be happy, I want to be fulfilled. So yeah, definitely find yourself a non-financial goal as well. And yeah, I will end today's video here. Thank you so very much for watching. I hope you found this helpful. If you have anything else to add to the conversation, definitely leave a comment for the group. And yeah, we shall read and learn and respond and engage. And yes, once again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.